All right, let's dive into something huge. We're talking about a massive economic battle that's literally shaping our future. It's the ultimate showdown, solar versus oil, and it's all about the money.
Now look, the environmental side of this is obviously super important, but for today, we're going to put that aside. We're here to ask a really simple question. When you look at the cold, hard cash, who's actually winning the money race? Oil or solar?
So think of it like a title fight. In one corner, you've got the heavyweight champion of the world, oil. I mean, this is the stuff that powered the entire 20th century, right? It's got this massive global infrastructure built up over 100 years. And in the other corner, the up-and-coming challenger, solar. It's a tech-driven disruptor, and get this, its price is dropping at a speed that's just mind-blowing. This isn't just some friendly competition. It's a full-on economic showdown.
Okay, so to really get what's happening here, you've got to give respect where it's due. Let's start with the reigning champ. Let's really break down the economics of oil.
You know, the journey oil takes from the ground to your gas tank it's just unbelievably complex. First, you've got to find the stuff. That's exploration. Then you have to actually get it out of the earth, extraction. But you can't use it yet. It has to go to a refinery to be turned into gasoline or jet fuel, and then it has to be shipped all over the planet. Every single one of those steps is a massive, complicated industrial operation.
So where does oil get its power? Well, it's all about that gigantic established infrastructure we talked about, plus these huge, mature global markets where it's traded every second. But here's its Achilles heel: volatility. The price can swing like crazy because of politics on the other side of the world, and the whole system, it's like a beast that constantly needs feeding. It demands just enormous, ongoing spending on fuel and operations just to keep the lights on, so to speak.
All right, that's the champ. Now let's turn our attention to the challenger, solar energy. It's a whole different ballgame. It's playing by a completely different set of economic rules. Think less about digging stuff out of the ground and more about pure technology.
Yeah, the process for solar is just fundamentally different. It's way more straightforward, actually. You manufacture a solar panel in a factory, you go install it on a roof or in a field, it starts generating power from the sun, and you connect that power to the grid. That's pretty much it. It's all about manufacturing and construction, not a messy extraction and refining business.
Okay, get ready for the number that changes absolutely everything. The number is 90%. In just the last 10 years, the cost to make a solar panel has crashed by 90%. I mean, think about that. That's one of the most dramatic cost drops for any technology in history. And that, right there, is the single biggest reason we're even having this conversation. It's why solar is now a real, honest-to-goodness economic contender.
So you're probably asking, how on earth did that happen? Well, it comes down to this really cool economic idea called the learning curve. It's super simple, really. The more of something you make, the better and cheaper you get at making it. Practice makes perfect, right? With solar, every single time the total number of panels ever made has doubled, the cost to make new ones has dropped by 20 to 30%. That is the incredible power of manufacturing on a massive global scale. Okay, so we've sized up the two fighters, we've seen their different styles. Now it's time for the main event. Let's put them head-to-head on the one thing that matters most, the price.
This is really the core trade-off right here. On the one hand, you have your traditional power plant. The upfront cost to build it might be lower, but then you're stuck with this constant, never-ending bill for fuel. You have to keep buying coal or gas forever. On the other hand, you have solar. Yes, the upfront investment is a lot bigger. You got to spend more to build it. But once it's up and running, the fuel, the sunlight, is 100% free. And that just creates a completely different financial reality over the life of the project.
So, to compare these two totally different models fairly, economists have a special tool. It's called the Levelized Cost of Energy, or LCOE for short. Don't let the name scare you. All it is the true all-in price tag. It's the cost to produce electricity from a new power plant over its entire lifespan, factoring in everything: building it, fueling it, fixing it. It's the ultimate way to compare apples to apples.
And when you run the numbers, well, here's the result. This is what it looks like when you compare the LCOE for building new power plants today. And honestly, the takeaway here is just stunning. In a lot of places around the world, that all-in lifetime cost of a new solar plant is now actually cheaper than building a new natural gas plant. We've crossed the line. The economic crossover isn't some far-off future thing. It's already happened. When you're talking about new projects, solar is often the cheapest option on the table. So, okay, if the basic economics are flipping upside down, what does that mean if you're an investor? How should you think about this?
Where is the smart money actually going in this huge energy shift?
If you look at it from an investor's point of view, these are just two totally different kinds of bets. Traditional oil and gas stocks, they're often for people who want stability and consistent payouts. You know, those regular dividend checks. It's about income for today. Solar and other green energy stocks, though, that's a bet on explosive growth potential. It's about building wealth for tomorrow. And the risks are completely different, too. With oil, you're always worried about those wild swings in commodity prices. With solar, the risks are more about how fast the technology changes and what the government decides to do next.
So as we start to wrap this up, let's be really clear. This isn't about oil vanishing overnight or solar completely taking over the world tomorrow. That's not what's happening. What we are seeing is a fundamental, and I think irreversible, economic shift in how we power our entire civilization. The era of thinking about renewables as the expensive option, well, that age is officially over.
And that leaves us with one last and maybe the most important question. If cost isn't the biggest barrier anymore, then what is? Now that solar can go toe-to-toe with fossil fuels on price and often win, the whole game has changed. The new battles aren't about making it cheaper. They're about upgrading our electric grid, figuring out massive energy storage, and sorting out global supply chains. That is the next chapter in this incredible economic revolution.